USB as a nation and as a legal entity. Yes, this is a massive one, and in this video we shall be showcasing and also exposing every single thing that has happened or happened behind the scenes, so you can understand how Mr. Donald Trump got to realize the movement called USB, and he had to place his own official and presidential stamp, making it a nation, a widely recognized nation all over the world. Yes, this is going to be a very, very interesting video, and I will urge you to watch it up until the very, very end. So the question here is, how did this happen, and who brought the movement of the USB on the desk of Mr. Donald Trump? Well, let's start from the very first day. On the 16th of November 2024, Mr. Simon released a post on his Twitter page. Shown right now on your screen is this post. It states, "The giants of Washington, D.C. are all joining the government for a good history that is about to happen." And this was released last year. When this whole tweet came to the media space, many individuals did not understand what was playing and what was happening behind the scenes. Yes, this felt like a regular tweet coming from Mr. Simon, but we never knew that these guys were trying to lobby and also present the USB movement in front of the president of the USA. Yes, so Mr. Simon needed to present USB in front of the president of the USA, and he needed someone to do it for him. Yes, he needed someone who has a high profile in the international world, and that is where a man known as Elias Gerasulis came into play. Yes, showing right now on your screen is a brief description of this particular man known as Elias Gerasulis. This man happens to be a professional lobbyist, and he works for a company known as Moran Global Strategies, which happens to be a prominent lobbying firm that was founded by a former congressman in the person of Jim Moran. Yes, so Mr. Simon employed the services of this individual known as Elias Gerasulis so as to present the movement of the USB in front of the official president of the USA. Yes, so Mr. Simon did a lot of negotiating with this individual, and everything, the contracts, the negotiations, and the objectives were clear and stamped, and that is when every single thing came into play. A couple of days later, this man known as Elias Gerasulis met with Ngozi Orabueze, who currently is the Deputy Prime Minister of the USB movement. Well, if you don't believe me, take a look at this publication showing right now on your screen, and this is coming from Mr. Simon, where it states, "The lobbyist Elias Gerasulis and Chief of Staff Dr. Ngozi Orabueze at the headquarters of the lobbying firm in Washington, D.C., Moran Global Strategies." Yes, this is the very first day that Ngozi Orabueze, together with this individual known as Elias, met in person so as to present a lot of documents, a lot of files, and series of portfolio in front of a sitting president in the USA. Interestingly, after this man met with Ngozi Orabueze, he immediately met with a series of individuals domiciled in the USB movement. Well, shown right now on your screen is a video captured on that particular day where we can find Mr. Elias having conversations and briefing individuals and leaders in the USB movement. Yes, in this particular meeting, Mr. Elias, together with every other individual seated there, came together, they brought their heads together to devise a means and to draw out a blueprint in gaining the attention of the president of the USA. Yes, this guy wanted to meet and have conversations with the president of America, and they had to do it strategically. Yes, and that is when they opted to go through an organization known as the USA Department of Justice. Yes, shown right now on your screen is a quick description of this particular establishment or government entity domiciled in the USA, which states the United States Department of Justice, also known as the Justice Department, is a federal executive department of the USA government that oversees the domestic enforcement of federal laws and every other matters within. Yes, so this man known as Mr. Elias decided to go through the USA Department of Justice as a means to meet with the president of the USA in the person of Donald Trump. Yes, the plan was very simple and well calculated. A couple of months later, Mr. Elias, together with Ngozi Orabueze, drafted a letter that was sent to the Department of Justice USA. Well, shown right now on your screen is an official document, an authentic document coming from that government body domiciled in America. As you can clearly see, it states registration statement pursuant in the Foreign Agent Registration Act of 1938 as amended. And when you take a look at the name of the registrant, it states the USB government. This is actually a fantastic one. Well, that is not even all. Yes, that is not even all. On the 20th of February 2025, Ngozi Orabueze came out to expose one of the biggest news for that particular movement. Well, showing right now on your screen is her post or a tweet coming from her official handle. It states, and I quote, "Breaking, Department of Justice registers and recognizes the USB as a foreign nation with its cabinet members." Yes, we are no longer an agent organization. We are a nation with all the laws protecting a nation. And when you look down below, you will see that same document I just showed to you, together with the seal of the USA Department of Justice. This is a big one. So how did this even get to the table or to the desk of Mr. Trump? Well, let me show this to you. So right now on your screen is a publication coming from the BBC. It states, Trump rewards personal lawyers with Justice Department post. Yes, so this is simple. Donald Trump rewarded some of his loyal lawyers in different positions domiciled in that said Justice Department of America. Well, show right now on your screen is a picture of some of these lawyers. And when you take a look at the left hand side corner of your screen, we have a man known as Todd Blanche. Yes, this is the same individual who signed the document presented by Ngozi Orabueze. Yes, this man happens to be a very close friend and a supporter of Mr. Donald Trump, and it is very possible that he actually seek permission and seek full recognition from the president before that document was actually signed. So what does this actually mean for the USB movement? Yes, so it's one thing that the president of the USA have officially recognized the USB as a nation and as a sovereign state. The other thing is, what are the importance? Why is this even important to the layman on the street? Well, let me show you some of its importance and everything you need to know, because this is a big one. Well, so the very first achievement or the very big impact of this recognition is the fact that the USB movement is no longer a group or an organization. Yes, and the second importance is the fact that the USB can now operate freely within the coffers and in any space in America. Yes, this is massive. And the third importance is the fact that the USB is now a legal entity in the eyes of the US president and government. Yes, the USB now is now a legal entity, is now a state recognized by America, and these guys are actually very free to hold meetings, to hold protests if that comes into play, to hold campaigns and every other thing within its capabilities. Yes, so the USB is now a legal entity in the eyes of the USA. And the fourth importance is the USB can now seek for financial aid. Yes, so just in case you don't know, this US Department of Justice usually grants aids and grants support to a series of bodies and structures domiciled all across the world. Yes, in total, this US Department of Justice has granted a total of 3.2 billion plus loans and grants to states, local and tribal partners. Yes, so the USB movement can actually seek for funds and seek support and aid from the US Department of Justice, because they have now been recognized and signed as a legal nation operating within the international space. Well, moving on swiftly, the fifth importance is the fact that the USB has its own laws. Yes, the USB can now create and formulate its own written laws. And the sixth importance is USB is now a nation, and this is one of the biggest achievements so far. So as you can see, things will only get interesting from this point moving forward, because the movement has achieved a massive feat. And kudos to Donald Trump, together with his loyal lawyers who signed that proposal into laws. Kudos to these individuals, and we can't wait to see how things unfold in the future. Well, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, I urge you to subscribe and turn on post notifications, because we'll give you all of the latest breaking news and verified news coming out in Nigeria and from other parts of the world.
One would say that Benjamin Netanyahu, the Prime Minister of Israel right now, is set to take over the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, because when the Buhari government went after Nnamdi Kanu flew to Israel. Yes. And they once said that Nnamdi Kanu have discussion with Benjamin Netanyahu, and Netanyahu now is trying, after this IBB informations about Biafra. Netanyahu now is working in conjunction with Donald Trump. We saw where Donald Trump has said that they should release Nnamdi Kanu, that killing of the Christians in the Southeast should stop. Do you think that Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump have what it takes to put pressure on Nigeria to release Nnamdi Kanu?
It all points towards that angle of alliance, balkanization. The greatest allies we had in the past was Finland, Ireland, Israel, and some private concerned bodies in America, because I could remember one Captain Brown that was shot off the coast of Gabon, and his airplane was situated in which region in Nigeria? Southeastern region. This first embassy, and still, that's where they have their embassy today, until they restore tie with Nigeria under Ibrahim Babangida's regime. Israel and the Nigeria restored tie, maybe international tie. That maybe that was when they may have relocated the embassy. But I know that Israel was having their embassies in Igbo land in Enugu since the year 1970 till date. So because they went home to defend their land, they turned their back on the Biafrans and we actually fought the war by ourselves, using on our high tech to at least manufacture our Obunigbe and other, firearms made by the then technorat, war technorats, Engineer Roy Umenyi, yes, Kenneth Onwukadike, and many, many Biafrans, that work at the Biafra Logistics Department headed by Chinua Achebe. Then we had many people that actually help us, work out or craft out the kind of weapons we used, defend ourselves during the Nigerian Biafran Civil War. So the roles all these countries, United States, Israel, Finland, and so on and so forth, are playing, is because of the kind of role they actually, played emotionally during the war of 1967 to 1970. If Israel is part of Igbo land, they actually know that either we come from them or they come from us. They have actually visited Aguleri, where I come from, Otuocha, Anambra, many times to at least confirm during excursion, if actually Igbos are Israelites or Israelites are from Igbos, and they have gotten many artifacts. They have gotten many archaeological proofs that they have strong ties with the Igbo culture and tradition. And it was even happening in 2021 when Nnamdi Kanu was abducted from Nairobi, Kenya. 4 Israeli excursionists were apprehended by Nigerian DSS, accused of what? Spies. The then president of Israel, then or prime minister, was Naftali Bennett. Naftali Bennett actually war in Nigeria, and there was a sort of this skirmish, diplomatic rows between the two countries. Under 2 weeks, those black Jews and white Jews were released after such accusation because they went to Aguleri for findings, archaeological findings, and they actually discovered the book of Torah. The book of Torah was in Aguleri, and the book of Torah actually give the full, accurate narratives on how or why Israel is Igbo, Igbo is Israel. And that has actually sealed the controversy behind whether Igbo man is Jews or this or that. It has been finally concluded that Bennett, the then Prime Minister of Israel, confirmed it that they have, the Jews occupying in the southeastern hemisphere of Nigeria, confirmed.
Mr.
and
Rafa,
proven.
I want us to end this conversation in 2 minutes.
Okay, now.
Many Biafrans have said that they would prefer Israel to come to their rescue, even if it takes them 50 years to be under Israel before they get their independence, instead of staying with this country whereby they have been marginalized. Do you agree with them that Igbos should go under Israel and spend 50 years with Israel before they get their independence?
150 million percent agree. I agree with them if you can weigh the statistics, the average of my agreeing with what that guys or what those people are saying. I'm scoring myself. I agree 100%, 120%. Igbos should be under Israel so that we will understand their technology, we buy into their science, everything about their engineer, how they build and form their craft. Though they actually know that we have the brain. If you go into the Russia and the United States of America, most of the scientists and technologists in those countries are from Igbo extraction. I think it is better to stay with Israel. And if Israel come, there's nothing like oppression or compression. There's nothing like suppressing us because already we are Christians. Already we are buying into their technology. Already we are traditionally and culturally the same with them. So their technology is just like water, akara, and the cake for us. It won't be very hard for us. We can cohesively work with Israel because Israel is Igbo. Igbo is the Jews. We are the same with Israel. You are welcome.
Thank you so much, Mr. Raf, for having you this morning. Mr. Raf, thank you for having you, the Waymaker TV, this morning.
You are welcome.
Yes, of course, we saw the IBP have revealed the secret that they have used to marginalize Igbo over the years. And instead of the Ohanese to demand Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be released with immediate effect, they are asking for 10 trillion naira. Is 10 trillion naira or Mazi Nnamdi Kanu release?
Anyway, from the angle they are asking money, I can actually tell you they are right. Listen and listen good. That is what is called reparation. Reparation is a compensation for damage done or genocide. Let me give you an instance of what happened in 1492. Various countries, ethnicities from Europe actually migrated into the New World, called the United States of America presently. And they used the blacks in Africa here as slaves. They traded on black slaves for over 400 years. What? Ferrying them, taking them into the New World, United States, to work in the plantation because the American originators they met there, the Red Indians, are very weak. They cannot work, they don't have strength. They use the black to support, thereby enslaving blacks in their millions. For over 400 years, there was a price to be paid by the West. The like of Mutuda Abiola went to ICC, sued the West to court to pay the Africans reparation. And that payment, Abiola was in the fight until Buhari, Babangida, Abacha, disallowed him. He died. So what I'm trying to say is that they were asking for the money to pay for the genocide committed against the Igbos in 1967, 68, 69, and 70. And personally, I'm not in support of that money. No, they shouldn't ask for money. Why? No amount of money that can equate Igbo man's life. Life is something that is so sacrosanct. Yes, so special as well. Then very, very unique, scarce. Yes, not easily come by. Why? Life begins at conception. When man and woman meet, you cannot buy life with money. Life starts at conception. Life, God tells us how life started. He's the one that breathed into this dust and life come to be. That's why we have two things, life and death, and you can't buy life with money. The life of Igbo man can never ever equate with 10 trillion. The
life of Igbo man cannot be equate to 10 trillion.
I'm telling you.
Information reaching us now that the Finnish government now have disorganized the embassy in Finland after hearing that IBB said that the coup was not taken by IPOP, by Igbos. As I speak to you now, Samuel Ekpa, they are ready to free Samuel Ekpa now because they see that Nigeria government, in case they fire against Samuel Ekpa.
Yes, it's all false. It's based on false allegation, deception, and deceit. Do you know why Finland is reacting? Many people would have, should be asking themselves, why Finland? What concerns them? The greatest ally Biafra had in the 1967, 68, 69, and 70 was Finland. Finland supplied all Biafran families with war materials. Yes, they use mechanisms that even beat the brain of the Britain, the French, all the Egyptians, Chad, Burkina Faso, and Algeria, all the mercenaries fighting alongside with Nigerian military clique against the Biafran, people. And they had the foreknowledge. They had the best knowledge of what actually transpired, went wrong from 1967 to 1970. How the war was fought. Yes, how the war was fought by going, against Ojukwu people. Because Finland supplied up Morocco to help Kwachioko children of Biafrans not to die. Supply them with most nutritious food, one could need to fight malnutrition, called Kwashiorkor. So they actually played along. Let me use the word, I don't know whether maybe balkanization or alliance or allies with the Biafrans. That's why they know more than you and I. That book actually gave them more insight that those people they fought for were innocent of accusation leveled against them in the 60s. What an emotional practice. What an emotional embrace. What an emotional cooperation. How emotional it is right now in Finland that actually fought for Biafran people that were dying of Kwachiorkor in the 1960s. And I can actually tell you that Ireland, if not part of the contraption that make up United Kingdom, they would have been fighting Nigerian embassy right away. An Irishman set himself ablaze in front of United Nations Secretariat in New York over the same war, over the same genocide against the Igbos. He poured fuel on himself after alerting the United Nations that some persons called Igbos in Africa were being killed, disallowed, murdered by the socialist Britain, who supplied Nigerian military clique with lethal weapons to actually exterminate the race called the Igbos in the 1967. And this Irishman died today. He died a matter just for the Igbo man.
He died for matter just for the Igbo man. Mr. Raf.
Waymaker TV.